Nike have just pulled one of the most genius, and I mean this, genius Caitlin Clark hype things we've seen. And I am very impressed because I was not high on what Nike had done. I thought Nike had done a lot of really bad things with Caitlin. I didn't know if Nike were even capable of doing something good with Caitlin, but they are.
For months, a palpable sense of frustration simmered among observers of the sports marketing world. Here was Caitlin Clark, a generational talent whose collegiate career didn't just break records, but seemed to rewrite the very economy of women's basketball, stepping into the professional arena with the weight of unprecedented expectation. And her premier partner, the athletic apparel behemoth Nike, appeared to be fumbling the bag. Their initial efforts felt disconnected, safe, even timid, a series of generic celebratory ads and merchandise drops that failed to capture the lightning-in-a-bottle excitement Clark embodied. It was as if they had been handed a revolutionary new instrument and could only manage to play a few basic scales. Then, they pulled the trigger from deep. Nike's From Anywhere campaign is more than a clever tagline or a new shoe promotion. It is a masterclass in modern athlete branding. A strategic pivot so sharp and so perfectly attuned to the cultural moment that it forces a complete reassessment of their playbook. This isn't just good marketing. It's a potential paradigm shift for how we think about, market, and commodify stardom in women's sports. They have identified, isolated, and weaponized Caitlin Clark's most electrifying signature, her audacious, logo-range three-point shooting, and are attempting to bake it directly into the lexicon of global basketball culture. They are not just selling a player, they are selling a concept, an action, a new standard of possibility. To understand the genius of this move, we must first dissect what came before. Nike's early forays with Clark often felt like they were marketing a phenomenon rather than a basketball player. The focus was on her record-breaking, her visibility, her role as a rising tide. This was not inherently wrong, but it was diffuse. It appealed to the already converted fan and the cultural commentator, but it lacked a sharp, visceral hook for the casual observer or the young athlete looking for a signature move to emulate. The merchandise, often, was simply her name and number attribute, not a translation of her identity. The From Anywhere campaign cuts through that noise with surgical precision. It is built on a foundational insight that the most iconic athlete brands are not built on totality, but on synecdoche.
Understands that she's one of the best shooters of all time. Now it's time to prove that you're a shooter also. Get creative and share your own trick shot video using hashtag From Anywhere, hashtag Team Nike, hashtag Nike Basketball. I don't know if this is an ad, but this is really smart. We need Michael Jordan and Larry Bird to reunite for one with Caitlin Clark, one of the best shooters of all time. I'm going to say one of the most impactful shooters of all time. You know what? Like, there are people that put that say because what someone did in college, they're one of the best shooters of all time. She's easily one of the best deep three shooters of all time. She's some of the best range of all time. And you have now got a big social media person.
Part that stands for the whole. Michael Jordan wasn't marketed as a complete basketball savant in his early years. He was marketed as flight, as defiance of gravity, encapsulated in the Jumpman logo. Be Like Mike wasn't about his footwork or his defensive stance. It was about soaring. Similarly, Tiger Woods was, Hello World, a paradigm-shifting force of youth and diversity. For Stephen Curry, it was range. The moment he began consistently hitting shots from distances that broke the conventional geometry of the court, he ceased to be just a point guard and became an archetype, the deep space assassin. Nike is applying this exact, proven template to Caitlin Clark, and it fits with stunning accuracy. The campaign's central video spot is elegantly simple. It features Clark in various, often non-traditional settings, calmly draining shots from absurd distances. The narration is minimal, the visual message paramount. It doesn't matter where she is. If she's in range of the basket, she's in range. This directly and brilliantly co-opts the narrative that has surrounded her. Detractors and skeptics have consistently moved the goalposts. She dominated in college, but can she make it in the WNBA? She can score, But can she do it against this defense? The campaign subtext is a defiant retort. You keep asking, what about from here? Watch this. It transforms criticism into a challenge and her skill into the answer. This is where the campaign transcends advertising and ventures into cultural engineering. Nike isn't just broadcasting a message. They are seeding a behavior. By launching the number From Anywhere challenge across social media, they have created a participatory ecosystem. They enlisted mega influencers in the basketball training and trick shot space like Lethal Shooter and the GOAT Jester, figures with millions of followers who may not be die-hard WNBA fans, but are devout followers of basketball skill and viral athleticism. These creators, through paid partnerships and organic engagement, issued the challenge. Show us your own From Anywhere shot. This move is multi-layered in its intelligence. First, it generates a torrent of user-generated content, all tagged with Nike's hashtag, creating a self-perpetuating wave of visibility. Second, it democratizes Clark's superpower. While few can dunk like Aja Wilson or cross over like Sabrina Ionescu, anyone with a ball and a hoop can attempt a deep, crazy shot. The attempt itself is the engagement. Third, and most crucially, it forges a neural link in the participants' and viewers' mind. Every time someone heaves a shot from their driveway or a local park.
Goal from Nike. What will sell is, like, people my age remember when Jimmer range meant something. People my age, remember when Curry range first became a thing. But for me, Jimmer range was different. The way, like, people were literally, for a brief period in time, people, when they threw a ball into a bin, they said, they shouted Jimmer. Very few of them. Very.
And thinks Caitlin range, or shouts Clark. As the ball arcs, they are reinforcing the brand association. Nike is no longer solely responsible for telling Clark's story. They have recruited the culture to tell it for them. The choice of range as the cornerstone is not accidental. It is the most marketable skill in modern basketball. The deep three-pointer is the sport's ultimate spectacle. It is visual, immediate, and statistically thrilling. It defies expectation. A dunk is power meeting precision. A deep three is audacity meeting artistry. When the ball leaves the shooter's hands from 30 feet, there is a collective intake of breath, a suspended moment of disbelief before the net snaps. It is the most shareable moment in the sport, perfect for the highlight reel economy of social media. Stephen Curry's rise to global superstardom, surpassing more physically dominant players in jersey sales and popularity for years, is the definitive case study. He proved that a shooter could be the face of the league. Caitlin Clark is on a trajectory to do the same for the WNBA. The numbers from her rookie season are not just good, they are anomalously transformative. Games featuring Clark on national television averaged over 1.3 million viewers, while non-Clark games often drew less than a third of that. Her jersey became the top seller across the entire NBA and WNBA for a period. She doesn't just move the needle, she is the needle. Nike is recognizing that her game possesses that rare, alchemical quality that attracts the casual fan, the must-see moment that makes people stop scrolling. You don't have to understand post-play or defensive schemes to be awestruck.
There were people that shout Jimmer instead of Kobe. But now it's the stage where people might start, if they throw from really far away, start shouting Caitlin Clark. Or shouting Caitlin. Because at the end of the day, look, it's genuinely a big thing. It is a big thing. And once that becomes mainstream, that Caitlin Clark becomes synonymous with long range shooting and not just like, and it becomes a kind of brand thing, Nike will sell so much shit.
By a 35-foot buzzer beater. It's a universal language. The campaign also subtly addresses a glaring weakness in Clark's current commercial footprint: international availability. The speaker in the original text highlights the irony of a from anywhere message when fans outside the US literally cannot purchase official merchandise. This, however, may be a calculated, long game play. Nike appears to be building the cultural concept, first establishing Caitlin Clark as synonymous with revolutionary shooting before the global product rollout. They are creating demand in markets where the WNBA's broadcast presence is still growing. When the merchandise and broader accessibility finally arrive, the foundation of desire will already be laid. They are betting that
Look, for me anyway, this is huge. This is absolutely huge, and I gotta give credit where credit's due to Nike. I think Nike did it perfectly. I think Nike have branded this perfectly. They have now. There was Be Like Mike, and it's not going to be Like Caitlin. Doesn't sound right, but Caitlin range, shooting from Caitlin range, and if it becomes a thing where, and it is to a lesser extent, where you see kids, obviously you know the whole thing.
Anywhere will translate anywhere. Contrast this approach with how Nike and other brands have historically marketed elite WNBA players. The focus has often been on respect, on excellence, on advocacy, and on all-around greatness. Campaigns for Aja Wilson, Brianna Stewart, and Elena Del Dunn rightly celebrate their MVP status, their championships, and their societal impact. These are vital and commendable. However, they often lack a simple, sticky, playground-friendly hook. What is the one thing a kid can instantly imitate? What is the signature, replicable move? For Clark, it's now crystal clear. The deep, deep three. This gets to the heart of Nike's ambitious endgame. They are not just trying to sell Caitlin
game because kids are all shooting threes. If it's now a thing where kids are just joking around, chucking half-court shots, shouting Caitlin Clark, that's obviously what they're wanting. That's obviously what the goal for the goal for the team is, or for goal for her is with Nike. And I think long term, as long as Caitlin keeps showing up on the court, which I have no doubt she will, this is going to be Nike's most profitable partnership, because as good as, there is a world where Paige Beckers ends up as a better player than Caitlin Clark. Do I think that world will be a thing? No, but there is a world where that happens. There is
Clark sneakers. They are trying to mint a new phrase in the basketball dictionary. They want Caitlin range to enter the common parlance alongside Jordan-esque or in the zone. They want play-by-play announcers to say, "She pulled up from Caitlin Clark territory." They want kids in parks from Indianapolis to Istanbul to shout, "From anywhere," as they launch a heave. This is the pinnacle of brand achievement. When your athlete's name becomes an adjective, a verb, a standard unit of measurement. The historical precedent for such a flash-in-the-pan cultural phrase exists, as noted with Jimmer Range, during Jimmer Fredette's sensational college run. For a brief, bright period, his name was synonymous with ultra-deep shooting, but it faded because the professional performance didn't sustain the myth. Clark's crucial advantage is her proven staying power at the professional level. Her rookie stats leading the league in assists, near 20-point averages, relentless gravity demonstrate that her game translates. The foundation for a long-term cultural campaign is solid because the on-court product is elite and sustainable. The From Anywhere campaign, launched pointedly during the holiday season when families gather and social media engagement peaks, is a full-fledged experiment. Its success hinges on two factors: Clark's continued performance, she must keep making those shots on the biggest stages, and the cultural buy-in from the public, influencers, and media. If it works, it will prove that women's basketball stars can be the engines of mainstream, viral marketing campaigns on par with the biggest names in men's sports. It will show that the path to icon status is the same. Identify the singular, spectacular, and imitable skill, and build a world around it. Nike, after an uncertain start, has finally looked at Caitlin Clark and seen not just a basketball player, but a canvas. On it, they are painting a new archetype, the fearless, limitless shooter whose range is defined only by her imagination. They are betting that in a world of constraints, the most powerful idea is a simple one. You can make it from anywhere. And in doing so, they may have just launched the most impactful campaign in the history of women's team sports. The shot is in the air. The entire industry is watching to see if it swishes.